Hello, grade 4 students. This is lesson 20, titled Sacagawea. Objectives are unlock vocabulary words based on context and use new vocabulary words in sentences. Recognize biography, identify main idea and supporting details of a text, and demonstrate reading fluency and comprehension skills. Let's begin with vocabulary. One is territory. To many people, polar lands are unfamiliar territory. So polar lands are lands that we encounter in the polar regions like the North Pole and also icy areas or icy territories. So for this particular sentence, territory means land area. Number two is accompany. Explorers going into a cave should find others to accompany them. So you should not go inside the cave alone because it might be dangerous for you. So accompany in this sentence means to go with someone. Three is proposed. Some scientists have proposed or suggested further exploration of Mars. And now we have witnessed one of the robots of NASA actually landing in Mars, and it's going to collect some data from the red planet, right? So proposed in this sentence means suggested. Four is interpreter. An interpreter or translator is helpful when people use different languages. So you may encounter this when you travel to different countries and you're unfamiliar with the native language of that country. So if they do not speak English, then you would most likely need an interpreter or a person who translates different languages. Number five is duty. Divers have a duty. They are required not to harm a marine area or its creatures. So divers should show respect for the biodiversity of that area where they're performing their diving activities, right? So duty in this sentence means a job or a responsibility, something that someone is required to do. Number six would be supplies. Hikers need to carry supplies such as food and water. So these are the essential things. When you say supplies, these are the most important things that people need in order for them to perform a specific activity or to sustain themselves. Seven is route. Backpackers should choose a safe route and stick to that path. Otherwise, they would be lost. So route in this sentence means a path or way or the direction in which you have to go. Let's go to number 8, core. On a research trip, every member of the core or team must have valuable skills. So there you have it. The meaning of core in this sentence would be team or a group of people. 9 would be clumsy. A clumsy or awkward mistake can mean the loss of months of research. So we have to be particular and meticulous when we are performing tasks for very big projects. If you're clumsy, then it's going to cost you. So clumsy in this sentence means awkward. 10 would be landmark. Noting a landmark or other recognizable object makes the return trip easier. So landmark in the sentence means recognizable object, recognizable place, or an important place that will serve as a clue when you have to make your return trip. Now let's proceed to our target skill. For this text, we're going to learn identifying main ideas and details. As you read Sacagawea, look for the most important ideas the author presents. So the most important ideas in a paragraph or a text is what you call the main ideas. Also look for supporting details that tell more about the main ideas. So supporting details would be additional information that would further explain or elaborate the main idea. So use a graphic organizer like the one below to help you see the relationship between main ideas and the details that support them. Then summarize the most important ideas. So here you have it, our graphic organizer, and you can use this as a mental map for you to identify the most important ideas and the supporting details per paragraph in the text and also in the entire text itself. Now, to continue with the skill, how do we find the main idea of a passage? First, we should identify the topic. So, most likely, the main idea would be written at the beginning of each paragraph, but this is not always the case. You have to use other techniques, like summarize the passage in your own words. So, to summarize the passage would mean to state the most important ideas of that passage in a nutshell. And check the first and last sentences because usually you have them in these places in the paragraph, and also look for repetition of ideas. So this repetition of ideas would signal that that particular idea would be the most important in the passage or in the selection. Now let's go to genre. So Sacagawea is an example of a biography. So biography tells us about a person's life and is written by another person. So as you read, you have to look for the following features. First would be information about why the person is important, opinions and personal judgments based on facts, because after all, a biography is written by an author apart from the topic or the subject of that biography. And also you have to look for events in sequence or in proper order. So here are examples of biography titles that you can browse for in your free time. And one of these would be part of a best-selling series, Who Was Sacagawea? Now let's read Sacagawea by Lise Erdrich and illustrated by Julie Buffalo Head. Essential question, how do people from different cultures contribute to American history? So as you know, American history is comprised of stories from many different kinds of people, various experiences, challenges, and victories as well. So we're going to focus on the story of one Native American woman by the name of Sacagawea and how she has helped shape American history through her actions. Let's read the summary of the story. The entire story would be accessible in e-resources in our EIS portal. 40 men started a journey on May 14, 1804. The group was called the Corps of Discovery. Captain Clark was the leader. The men took boats down the Missouri River. They were looking for a route to the Pacific Ocean. The men spent the winter at an Indian village. One of the Indian women was named Sacagawea. Sacagawea's husband proposed that Captain Clark hire him. He wanted to help the men get horses from the Shoshone Indians. The husband did not speak the Shoshone language, but Sacagawea did speak Shoshone. She could be an interpreter. Captain Clark hired the husband. Sacagawea had a baby soon after their journey began. She carried the baby on her back. She even helped the men find food. Her clumsy husband almost caused a disaster by tipping the boat over, but Sacagawea saved the captain's supplies. The group found Beaverhead Mountain. This was a landmark or object that helped them identify the place. Sacagawea knew they were in Shoshone territory. She found her family in the Shoshone village where she was born. Sacagawea had the responsibility of interpreting for the men and for the Shoshone Indians. She did her duty or job very well. Sacagawea also used her skills to help find food on the long journey. When they reached the Pacific Ocean, Sacagawea got to accompany the crew to see the ocean. The men thanked Sacagawea for all her help on their expedition. So this was how Sacagawea was able to help the Corps of Discovery in their expedition. She was very instrumental to their success. Not only was she a very sensible and strong woman, having to carry that baby around as they were doing the expedition, but also she was wise, intelligent, and practical in that she was able to save the supplies, and she's intelligent enough to interpret an unknown language to the members of the Corps of Discovery. So you can learn more about this story by checking out our references and check out e-resources in EIS portal as well. So I will see you in the next video.